Hey there, Rod Bucton here. Welcome and thanks for coming along. This video will go for around 10 minutes today and I'll be online afterwards if anyone has any questions. Today I'll be talking about the conventional approach to health and wellness compared to an alternative primal lifestyle. A bit of a part two if you like, which is more focused on nutrition, following on from my presentation last week. Okay, let's get started. Thank you very much for being here again. Last week, if you joined me, you may recall I spoke about exercise, conventional view, pros and cons, and a primal approach, and the pros and cons and the benefits that I've experienced from that. It's a far more intuitive approach, and now I listen to my body. I have an idea of what I want to do day to day, but there's no set program that I have to live by. I also touched on nutrition and how I moved from a carbohydrate burner to a fat burner. So today I wanted to expand on this a little further and explain how it's been a massive part of my change and my new lifestyle and why I now feel so much better than I ever have in my whole life. Years ago, I lived on what I thought was a healthy diet. A typical day's food for me was breakfast, a big bowl of cereal, a couple of slices of toast, large glass of orange juice, morning tea, usually feeling quite hungry by then. And so I might have a fruit bun, a muesli bar, piece of fruit, glass of water, something like that. Lunchtime came around and I was usually quite hungry by this time. So it would be nothing for me to put away a couple of salad sandwiches with a bit of sliced meat, some fruit juice, a piece of fruit, a small fun-sized chocolate bar as a bit of a treat. Mid-afternoon came around again and usually was on the run. So I might just have a quick banana or something just to keep me going. Dinner, I was always ravenous by dinner, always starving, and typically this was meat and 3 veg, roll, bread roll, something like that, and a nice cold beer just to top it off. And for a bit of dessert, a bit of ice cream, might be a home-cooked muffin, bit of fruit cake, something like that. And then supper, I was still going. I was still hungry, trying to fill up, and might have another piece of fruit and a cup of tea just to finish off my day. And that's a fairly typical day for me, day in, day out. In and amongst obviously dining out here and there and a few other bits and pieces. So if we understand that and break it down a little bit more, when we eat foods that are high in carbohydrates, such as breads, pasta, biscuits, soft drinks, fruit juice, things that I used to eat a lot of, as I just explained, our body breaks these down into separate nutrients. One, of course, is glucose. Our bodies are then able to cope with a small amount of glucose, a little in exercise, a bit in our system for a while, and we store a bit in our muscles and our liver, but we're not designed, we haven't adopted, our bodies haven't changed and evolved to process massive amounts of glucose from this type of food day in, day out, as I was eating and a lot of other people do as well, as I know. High levels of glucose in our system are toxic, and this then requires us to produce massive amounts of insulin from our pancreas to help transport, to help circulate that around our body. Down the line, this type of diet can lead to developing a resistance to insulin because a lifetime of excess insulin production can lead us down to a whole range of metabolic diseases and type 2 diabetes. As I said initially, for me, a change from this diet as a result of forced basically to do it, looking at all sorts of alternates to try to get myself well, try to reduce the obesity that I had grown to from my lifestyle and also a chronic disease. Eliminating grains, sugar, processed food and processed oils was a huge shock. One of the first things that I struggled with, so what can I eat? What is left? And yes, it does take a while to get our heads around it, to understand what it is and what it means. Fortunately, my wife, my family has been a massive supporter of me and my new lifestyle, and that has been so beneficial to help me take it on past a period of illness, as I said, and then continue it for years following that to the point where this is what I'm coaching day in, day out. So a typical day for me now, breakfast, bacon and eggs or an omelette, something like that. Morning tea, a cup of coffee, might be a handful of macadamia nuts. And lunch could be a bit of leftover vegetables, some cold meat, from the night before, that type of thing. I might have some salad and sardines, some tinned fish, something like that, and might finish off with a piece of fruit, a piece of chocolate. All the while, all these meals, I'm no longer hungry. I'm no longer starving and ravenous and looking for that next feed to top up as I used to do in the past, which was something that I really, really struggled with. And in the past, if I didn't eat regularly, I'd find myself becoming really grouchy, really moody. I'd often get headaches and run down and a bit lightheaded. So a massive, massive change from the previous diet, a high carbohydrate diet, to what I now live, as I said, which is a high fat, a high healthy fat diet. Following on, afternoon tea, a cup of decaffeinated organic coffee. I always finish my coffee by about lunchtime and make sure that I have no caffeinated coffee after lunch, just to help me wind down at the end of the day and help me sleep, that type of thing. I might have a snack. I might have some almonds, a bit of almond butter on some carrot or some fruit, something like that, something a little different. And dinner is meat and 3 veg. Always been a meat and 3 veg person. Might finish off with a little bit of trail mix, maybe a little bit of Greek unflavoured, unsweetened yogurt, and that's pretty much it. So my day's food consumption has reduced. As I said, I don't get hungry, I don't get ravenous, and I don't have the big fluctuations of energy, up and down, like I used to have. In the past, I remember that previous diet, get through till about lunchtime, and after that, I'd have a big feed for lunch, and I'd be tired, I'd be run down, I'd be feeling a little flat by mid-afternoon, and I'd need a top up. And that was my body saying, you've burnt the glucose fuel from carbohydrates, you need to top me up again, because I need a bit more of that quick, that fast energy, which in the past, the carbohydrate diet is predominantly that. It's short bursts of quick energy, in and out, continuing. A high fat, high healthy fat diet, which I eat now, is a far more consistent, even flow of energy. And as I've worked through it, I've reprogrammed my genes so that now my body doesn't know if it's looking for fat for energy from my body or from the food I've eaten. And so it just continues along the way, and it's a far, far more pleasant way to live. My whole day, my whole week, my whole month is not just moving from one meal to the next. It's far more consistent, and I've developed a much more enjoyable love of food. And I enjoy food and enjoy the taste of food a whole lot more, which in the past, I've found I'd cover my food in sauces and toppings and all these sort of things, and kind of lost the taste for good food. That has, for me, has all come back again, and it's a great experience. It really is. So that was a typical day. I find I can easily skip a snack. As I said, I don't feel hungry. I don't feel ravenous between meals. If I'm busy or I don't have enough good quality food around for a meal, I can skip a meal, and it's no worries whatsoever. The Primal diet that I live on, which is high fat, very low carb and only healthy carbs, medium protein, it requires my body to produce far less insulin than a high carbohydrate diet, and hence my body has become much more insulin sensitive, which is a good thing. That's a very, very positive thing for maintaining a long, happy, healthy life and lifestyle, which is what I want to do for myself, and that I'm doing for my clients and getting some fantastic results. As I said, my energy flow, how I feel throughout the day, is far more consistent. I don't have the spikes up, spikes down. I'm not feeling tired and fatigued just from everyday living, mid-afternoon and sometimes mid-morning as well. I'm feeling great most of the times rather than just feeling great sometimes. My mind is much, much clearer, much, much more sharp, and I'm feeling fitter, leaner and stronger than I ever have before, ready to live life and enjoy life and do the things that I want to do for today and for years to come. If you'd like to talk more about lifestyle coaching, drop me a line and we can have a chat. I'm Rod from Sports Adventure. Thanks again. I hope you've had a great experience today. As I said, I really enjoy bringing this information to you. I love this stuff. I live by it. I don't coach anything that I don't live myself. And that's how I've transformed my life and the lives of others as well. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.